Slow your breath. Do not rush this moment. Do not scroll. Do not multitask. Wherever you are, pause. Not because the world has stopped, but because you must stop first. Most people never stop. They move from thought to thought, reaction to reaction, without ever noticing who is deciding. They wake up already tense, already defensive, already prepared to justify themselves. They speak before they listen. They respond before they understand. They assume meaning before they observe facts. This constant inner movement fractures attention, and a fractured mind cannot see clearly. Confusion does not come from complexity. It comes from speed. Tension does not come from disagreement. It comes from unexamined judgment. Distance between people does not begin with conflict. It begins with misunderstanding that was never corrected. This session is not designed to entertain you. It is not designed to stimulate emotion. It is not designed to flatter your opinions. It is instruction. Instruction requires stillness. Instruction requires humility. Instruction requires patience. Wisdom does not announce itself. It does not compete for attention. It does not rush to be impressive. Wisdom waits for the mind to quiet down. Today is about perception. Not how others behave, but how you interpret what you observe. Today is about restraint. Not silence as weakness, but silence as control. Today is about asking with clarity instead of hunger. Not asking to receive reassurance, not asking to gain leverage, but asking to understand reality as it is. If you are here, it means something in you already recognizes the cost of confusion. You may not be able to name it clearly, but you feel it. Most people encounter teachings like this once, nod in agreement, and then disappear. They tell themselves they understand. They tell themselves they will remember. They do not. They return to impulse. They return to assumption. They return to reacting instead of governing. And over time, this lack of discipline costs them peace, respect, and clarity. If you want steadiness instead of confusion, anchor yourself now, not later, not when it feels convenient. Neglecting discipline always feels harmless in the moment, until the consequences arrive. Subscribe now. Stay connected to instruction, because attention fades faster than people expect. Remain anchored. The Stoics taught something that unsettles most people when they first hear it. Suffering does not come from events. It comes from judgment. Two people can experience the same situation. One remains calm. The other collapses inwardly. The difference is not strength. It is interpretation. So, the central question guiding this entire teaching is simple but demanding. Am I seeing clearly or reacting blindly? This question is uncomfortable because it removes excuses. Rephrase it slowly. Am I listening to understand or listening to confirm what I already believe? Am I present in this moment or preparing to control the outcome? Am I grounded in reality or seeking reassurance for insecurity? Most people believe communication is about saying the right thing. They rehearse words. They plan responses. They measure reactions. This is a mistake. Communication is not speech-centered. It is perception-centered. If your perception is distorted, your words will follow that distortion. An untrained mind rushes to conclusions. It fills silence with fear. It assigns meaning where none was given. A disciplined mind pauses. It observes tone, timing, context. It allows information to arrive fully before responding. You do not own how others respond. You do not own how others feel. You do not own outcomes, you own attention. And attention determines judgment. Judgment determines action. Action determines consequence. This is the foundation of Stoic discipline. This is where most people fail, quietly and repeatedly. They assume silence is rejection. When someone pauses, they project fear into the gap. They assume hesitation is resistance. When someone reflects, they interpret it as avoidance. They assume difference is opposition. When someone sees the world differently, they treat it as a challenge. These assumptions are not facts. They are emotional shortcuts. Emotion overrides reason when the ego demands certainty. The mind prefers a wrong conclusion over no conclusion at all. This is why people rush to label, why they rush to explain, why they rush to defend. People give power to externals when they need validation instead of clarity. They measure themselves by response. They calibrate worth by reaction. This is surrender of inner authority. The problem is never the answer given. It is the meaning assigned to that answer. A neutral statement becomes an insult. A pause becomes disrespect. A boundary becomes hostility. Not because these things are true, but because the mind interprets through insecurity. When questions are asked with expectation, truth withdraws. People sense pressure even when it is unspoken. When questions are asked with patience, truth emerges naturally. Because safety invites honesty. The Stoic does not correct others first. He corrects his perception. He notices where emotion wants control. He notices where assumption replaces observation. And he adjusts inwardly before speaking outwardly. This is mastery of the self. Discipline is not control. Control is force applied outward. Discipline is alignment applied inward. Most people misunderstand this. They believe discipline means suppression, denial, or rigidity. It does not. Discipline is the quiet decision to act in accordance with reason rather than impulse. Restraint is not weakness. It is choosing not to rush, not to probe, not to impress. Rushing reveals anxiety. Probing reveals insecurity. Impressing reveals dependence on approval. A disciplined person does not need to extract meaning. He allows meaning to surface. Now, the 7 questions. Not as tactics, not as tools to gain advantage, not as methods to steer outcomes. They are invitations. They communicate presence, not pressure. They communicate respect, not expectation. Ask them calmly, without leaning forward, without anticipation. Then be silent. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is space. What matters most to you right now? This question honors the present instead of forcing projection. It does not demand future certainty. It allows reality to speak as it is. Presence matters more than plans, because plans change. But present values reveal direction. What drains you that you rarely talk about? This question acknowledges invisible weight. It does not assume weakness. It does not demand disclosure. Some burdens are heavy precisely because they go unnamed. Listening here requires patience, not fixing, not correcting. What makes you feel respected? Respect is deeper than approval. Approval fluctuates. Respect stabilizes. This question reveals boundaries, not preferences. And boundaries must be observed, not debated. What do you wish people understood about you? This question often unlocks long-held frustration. Things misunderstood are often carried quietly. Do not defend others here. Do not explain intentions. Listen. Understanding is not agreement. It is acknowledgement. What helps you feel calm? Peace is individual. What soothes one person unsettles another. This question teaches you how to stop interfering, how to step back rather than impose. What are you proud of that no one notices? Dignity lives here, not performance, not recognition. This question recognizes effort without demanding display. What does support look like to you? Never assume. Assumption is the enemy of respect. Support misunderstood becomes intrusion. Ask, then wait. Do not interrupt. Do not explain. Do not defend. Silence here is discipline, and discipline communicates safety. Begin your day grounded, not reactive. Do not begin by consuming noise. Do not begin by scanning problems. Begin by orienting the mind. Ask yourself what is within reach today and what must be released. When met with disrespect, govern your response. Do not mirror disorder. Do not escalate tone. Strength is measured by composure. When pressure rises, slow your speech. Speed betrays agitation. Calm speech restores balance. When misunderstood, clarify once, clearly, calmly, then let go. Repetition becomes negotiation. Negotiation weakens authority. Choose silence when speech would serve ego. Not every thought deserves a voice. Not every moment requires explanation. Release outcomes you cannot command. Gripping what you cannot control drains attention from what you can. Acceptance is not surrender, it is steadiness without collapse. You still act, but you act without panic. Endurance is remaining composed when impulse begs movement. It is staying seated when pride urges display. It is waiting when impatience demands action. Patience is strength that does not announce itself. It does not seek recognition. It does not hurry results. Those who endure quietly often outlast those who rush loudly. Character is not intention. It is repetition. What you do once reveals nothing. What you do consistently reveals everything. You become trustworthy by consistency, not by explanation, not by promise. You become grounded by restraint, by what you refuse to say, by what you refuse to pursue. Live by principle, not mood. Moods change hourly. Principles remain. Ask with clarity, not hunger. Hunger distorts perception. Clarity steadies it. Clarity is not loud. It does not compete. It does not persuade aggressively. Clarity, no, and do is clear. Is steady. If this session brought calm, return to Daily Stoic Perception. Because wisdom fades without repetition. Understanding weakens when it is not practiced. Subscribe now, not because of excitement, but because discipline requires structure. Most people believe they will remember what matters. They do not. They drift. They forget. They return only after confusion reappears. Stay. Discipline is not built by intensity. It is built by those who return, again and again.